I'm Bob the Cigar Guy. This is episode 42 of this sponsored by Camacho podcast. That's right. We didn't do all the regular things, right? But now it is 5 o'clock and it's time for you to get in that car and get on the way home. Or if you're watching it later, man, thank you very much. I'm so glad you're spending time with me. But I have flipped the script. I have flipped the script. I am breaking all my rules. Why? Because this podcast sucks. That's right. If you're still here, stay here because this podcast is going to suck too, but it's going to suck a little different. It's going to be a little bit different because we are trying some new things. I got a script. I'm not going to have scripts. I'm not going to do things scripted. It's going to be free thinking. It's going to be this and that and the other. It's just going to be me talking to you because I'm enough. Evidently, based upon the views, I'm not because we started off 200 people watching, 300 people watching, 100 people watching, 50 people watching. And this is not sustainable. So we are going to try some new things. That's right. I've got some great friends who knows a lot of great things. And they said, Bob, you got to change your thing. I am analog in a digital world. And so I fight change. I do. I say, well, you know what? People will watch based on the craftsmanship, but I guess it's crapmanship. And we are going to change it up. I have a guest today. Now, being the fact that it's a podcast that has hardly anybody watching, it's hard to get guests on. And I'm lazy. It's hard to figure out how to get on the computer to get guests on. So today we are going to have, let's see, where is this? Media assets. We will go to where? Where it's not there. So we won't have it. That's fine. We'll go to banners. Let's see if it's there in banners. No, it's not. We will just leave it alone then. Maybe let's try. Nope, that's not it. Let's get rid of that. Sucks so bad. But we have a guest. I had a little thing that goes across the screen, right? It's got the name on the bottom. Chief knows how to do all this crap. I don't know how to do all this crap. I know how to smoke cigars and run my mouth. And I am smoking. Oh, wait. I'll tell you that in a second. But we are trying something new. I have a guest. I have questions for the guest. I have it lined up. Now, the guest, like I said, it's hard to get a good guest on when you're not good at podcast. And I want to be a good podcast. I do. I want to reach more people. I want to make a difference. And so, how do we do that? This is how we do it. I hope we will have a guest. Today's guest is a gentleman of gentlemen. No, he's not. He is a country hillbilly. He is a silly boy, and he's got a lot of opinions. And he is, to me, kind of interesting. Boring on the outside, but full of goodness on the inside. Who am I talking about? Let's bring him on. Here we go with Bob Finley. Hey, everybody. I, I don't think I'm going to do the voices back and forth, but I think you'll understand that I will be interviewing myself as myself. Where's that button? Nope. There's the button. Got some crickets and a little bit of the wah, 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 right? So, first question, Bob the Cigar Guy, who are you? No, I'm Bob the Cigar Guy. That's Bob. Bob, who are you? Well, hi, I'm Bob. Okay, this is going to be a great podcast. I'm telling you what, that's why I called this one Trainwreck or Next Level. You decide. If this is something that that you're going to like, let me know, and I will give you the phone number to a local therapist or life coach because this is going to be interesting. What are you smoking? Now that's important because I'm smoking a brand new cigar to me. Never had it before. I didn't know this, but Camacho is working in part with Ferio Tigo. That's right, Michael Herklotz. This is the Timeless Prestige. It is a Honduran wrapper, Dominican Republic binder, Dominican Republic and Nicaraguan fillers, and it has that old school vibe. I've only lit up this much as the first cigar I've ever smoked of this line, of this blend, of this Vitola, of this here. And it gives me that old school vibe. It gives me the old lounge feel from like the 50s, 60s. It doesn't have the I don't know. It's not the same. It's not. And I highly recommend you don't trust me as Bob or trust me as Bob the cigar guy as saying this is a good cigar or a bad cigar. I suggest you get you one. And at the price point of about 12 bones, um, not too big an investment, right? You can find 5 packs if you search them on your phone or uh, connected device, and grab you some and try you some, or go into a lounge and see if you can get you one there. And if not, get you some, then go to your lounge and say, "Hey, I really like this. Will you bring it in? I like that." So, next question, deep diving questions, Bob. How old are you? Well, that's not a nice question. You don't ask a feller how old he is. Actually, it's you don't ask a lady how old he is, and I don't identify as a lady ever. And so I can answer that question. I am 55. That's right. I am 55 years old, born in 1970, in May of 1970. You didn't need to know that. There's no test after this, but just to let you know, just a little bit about me. Um, uh, First deep dive question, Bob. Are you ready for this? Yes, I'm ready for this. Why do you bend your hat like a goober? Why? People come up to you and say, "That's a weird thing." Some people come up to you and say, "Hey, will you bend my hat like that?" And it's just weird, Bob. Nobody else does it. Why do you do it? Well, I like to say it's because I'm avant-garde. It's like to say I'm cutting edge and I have got my thumb on the pulse of style, but that would be a true lie because I don't have style. Ask the first lady, ask my Gracie, ask anybody. I'm just a country boy that wears the same clothes all the time. If you watch all my videos in the past, which I hope you do, you will see pretty much the same shirt night and day. Because why? I take this shirt and this is right inside the door. I change out all my clothes from work and I come out here to work in the studio and I just throw on the shirt. And then every 3 or 4 days, because I'm not sweating in this shirt and I don't care about cigar smoke, so I'm about to go back out and cigar smoke, I throw it in the laundry and I wash it. Yes, I wear dirty shirts sometimes. I'm wearing shorts though. I'm letting you know there is clothing under the camera, so you don't have to worry about that. I know you were concerned, but and usually socks and shoes. No, sometimes no socks. Yes, shoes, because I got to walk out through the backyard of my house. Bob, where is your shop, your studio? This is a grand looking studio with a big wall of cigars behind you. Tell me about that. Well, I'll tell you what. We come from humble beginnings and we've stayed there. I started at the bottom and I'm still there. And we have Chief and I and a bunch of other people. The first lady, Gracie. I think Shannon J jumped in there a little bit. The grandkids jumped in there, and friends from the area jumped in, and we built a 12 by 24 studio that you paid for. That's right. We built it pre-COVID, so the lumber was a whole lot cheaper. But it's a 12 by 24 studio with 10-foot walls and 16-foot top. And then we took half of that, chopped it in half. We sprayed it down with, we had a company come in and spray it with open cell foam and the insulation. And then we put up, instead of drywall, which I hate drywall, we put up thick, 1 inch thick plywood walls. A couple reasons. I know you're wondering that. Couple reasons. Number one, it is not because of acoustics, because it is solid. But because it's solid, if me and Chief decided to roughhouse, because he's a big old boy. If you ain't seen Chief, watch Chief Talk on Thursdays at 8:15. Great live show. He's there. He fills up the whole frame. He's a big old boy. And we used to roughhouse a lot. I don't roughhouse much anymore because I'm just old and tired. And but if we bump into the walls and knock in the walls, we're not going to knock in the drywall. Also, if I want to hang something on the wall, if I want to do something on the wall, I don't have to go find a stud. The only stud I need in there is the one holding the hammer. Bob, you're so funny. Well, thank you very much, BTCG. Um, and so I can put up whatever I want. I can move it. It's real simple. Just paint over the hole and it just get it, right? It makes it hard if I want to change electrical, but luckily we put outlets all the way through here. Had some friends from Louisiana come and help us finish that. We did the rough end, and they ran the power from the house when we first started in the very beginning of our show. If you watch Chief Talk, you'll see our meager beginnings in his intro, which is a fantastic intro that gets us copyrighted every single week. But everybody loves it. I love it. So that is, you will see in the studio, it is, we literally had all the wires run. And then I ran where the wire that went out of the shop, I put a plug end on it and we would run two drop cords from the house at different areas so I didn't throw a breaker in the house. And then we ran the power from the house to the studio and the shop where we just slowly, continuously built this thing out. And we had to get a 200-foot Cat 5 cable running from the back of our modem on the back of our house through a window across the porch, across the yard into here so that Chief could plug in his computer so that we could actually have internet to do videos. Yeah, I know. And oh, it went out. And we we had to tell everybody, y'all stay off the phone. Y'all stay off the phone. Don't get on the computer. Don't search anything because it would slow us down so bad that it would crap out the show. So with that being said, we have moved up. We have our own electricity here, our own breaker box, 200 amp service in here because I have a shop. I do all sorts of stuff in the shop, and then I've got all the studio stuff. We've got lots of computers and microphones and lights and all this other garbage. Um, and so it's got its own thing, and we have our own internet out here as well. So we have two separate internet lines. So we have very few problems, which is really, really nice. Ventilation. People ask me about ventilation. Thanks for asking, BTCG. You're welcome, Bob. I'd like to know about ventilation. So would all the people out there in radio land, internet land, TV land, whatever land they're in. But let me tell you, we have two, not one, but two bathroom vents. I'm country, BTCG. I am country. I figure out how to fix things with things that ain't supposed to be used to fix. But I got me a 4-inch bathroom fan, whisper quiet, and put it up there. And then we decided that wasn't enough. And so we got a 6-inch whisper quiet bathroom fan. So we run two bathroom vents that run outside of the shop. Now, the neighbors have never talked to me about this, but I think that just brings them joy knowing that I'm smoking cigars in here, and they get to smell it outside. It's just aromatherapy for the neighborhood. And you're welcome, neighborhood. I don't ever charge you, but I should because you get to enjoy my cigars vicariously, and they are fantastic. Just like this Prestige Timeless by Ferio Tego. Nice plug, Bob. Thank you, BTCG. I'm doing your job for you. I should get your money. Wait, I'm supposed to get money? No, BTCG, you get no money. That's right. So we don't get paid. All the money that we get from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Camacho. That's right, Camacho. Live life bold. Bob, that's my line. Sorry, BTG. Go ahead and do your job. All right, everybody. So this is sponsored by Camacho. Live life bold. You want to smoke a great cigar? Why not try something from Davidoff? Davidoff, Avo, Zeno, Nicaragua. Baccarat, which we had last week, which was delicious. And you can grab you some Ferio Tigo, some timeless. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Delicious. Old school back in the day. Now, all right, Bob. So it is South Carolina. You're in Traveler's Rest, right? Yes, I am in Traveler's Rest. Well, how do you deal with your ventilation is sucking all your air out of there? how do you how do you keep it warm or cold in there? Do you just start a fire in the back corner of it and just let her eat, or put ice cubes in the thing? No, actually we have a window unit right up over Chief's area that runs an air conditioner, and then we use our space heaters. But this year, I'm being transparent and honest, BTCG, because that's what I'm here for. Our house, when we bought it 15 years ago, had dual air conditioners, nice big old train air conditioners, and they died about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And then I called somebody to come out and do it, and I am broke blue collar. And they said it's going to cost $20,000. Both of them are broke. You're going to need two new ones. And I said, what? And I said, no. So we went and bought window units for the air conditioners. And then we found these neat window units that actually are smaller. They don't hang out your window, they're just vent out your window. They're really neat kind of things. And they are not just air conditioners, they're heaters. And so I said, "Ooh." And so this year, we got new air conditioners. That's right. We got air conditioners in the house. It's really, really nice. Central heat and air keeps the dust down, makes everybody happy. happy, which is good. Happy wife, happy life. The first lady is my love, BTCG. You know that. Hey, I have a first lady. Her name is Sarah. Hey, mine's name's Sarah too. Well, hey, we're gonna fight afterwards because I will fight you for the first lady. And I just, you know what? Saddle up, let's ride, baby. Because I don't share with great things like that. But we are going to take one of those units and put it out here this winter so that we will get rid of the old window unit, and we will frame in this other unit, which will give us better heating and air. Hopefully the audio won't be affected about that. But back to, thanks for asking, BTCG, back to um the air ventilation, because we want to smoke cigars, we want to enjoy the smoke, but we don't want to live in a cloud of smoke. We don't we want to get it in here, we want to smell it a little bit, and then we want to let it go so the next can come in its place. So we have rabbit air. Chief has one right behind him, the A2 minus, A4 minus, the newest one. Fancy, fancy, fancy. And then I have another one that's right by my desk. So we actually have two of the rabbit airs that run whisper quiet. Fantastic. And if it gets real cold, we can cut off the interior ventilation, the bathroom fans, and let that joker eat. And it does a great job. Have 4 or 5 people in here smoking cigars, no problems whatsoever. We do have people come over sometimes. Thanks for asking, BTCG. Well, I was about to ask you that question, Bob, but you just don't shut up. I know I don't shut up. I just talk and talk and talk and talk, unless I'm puffing on my cigar, which I will do right now. Delicious. All right. So we do have people out here. And when I built the studio, like I said, I'm country, but I'm country smart. The walls are 10 feet in the main shop. And so at the 8 foot level, I put up a big old 2 foot wide shelf. Fantastic idea. If you ever build yourself a shop, build the walls 10 feet tall and put you a 2 foot shelf to get all the stuff out of the way that you're not using at the time. It gives you so much space. And then there's a loft over the studio because the studio is actually an 8 foot tall room that's completely sealed in with that closed cell phone, open cell phone that I was telling you about. And so I put a shelf up at 6 feet. And so across the shelf, there's a 2x4, right? We didn't paint the things that you can't see because we're lazy. And as you can see, there's one right there. See that board right there? And on that board, all the way, oh my gosh, look how awful this place is. On that board right there, you will see in different spots, there's the air conditioner. Where is it? There. No, I don't know. It's somewhere. And there's my ventilation. Yeah, fancy, right? So we have people come in. When they come in, they sign. We've had some great guests come over and hang out. We'd love to have you come over and hang out sometime. Why, thanks, Bob. You're telling people to come over to my studio. Well, BTCG, it is in my backyard. Oh, that's fair. So I just walk from my backyard out here, and I come hang out for a little while, and I get to hang out with Chief, and I get to hang out with you, and I think that's a great thing. So let's see. We talked about the hat. We didn't talk about the hat. Why do you bend the hat that way, Bob? You really take things off on a tangent. Yes, I do, BTCG. I'm sorry about that. It's just my ADD, ADHD just keeps me running my mouth, and I am actually nervous as all get out because I don't think this is going to be interesting, which means I'm going to have to revamp again and try to figure out how to do this over again, because this is sponsored content, sponsored by Davidoff, and we want to make sure that Davidoff gets, well, Camacho. We want to make sure that Camacho gets their money's worth. And right now, I just don't feel like they are. I don't. If Camacho called up and said, hey, Bob, the cigar guy, I just don't think it's working out. And I'm be like, you know what? I can't hate you for that. But Camacho is a top tier group, and they are very patient. And so we are trying to work hard to make this better for them. How can you help me make this better? Well, I got to put out good content. And when you find content that's good, that resonates with you, that resonates with others, that you think it's worth sharing, please share. Please share. Also, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a comment. That helps us get into other people's views. Also, if you haven't subscribed, man, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. We got lots and lots of things going on, and I would love for you to be a part of that. Actually, love for you to join our family and be part of the Bob the Cigar Guy family and Bob's family by extension. So, my hat, God dug it. I've been asked this question by Bob the Cigar Guy for 10 minutes, and I still haven't answered the question. And this cigar has went out a second time, and it's not the cigar, it is the cigar smoker. My hat. It is kind of odd. I did it for two reasons. We first started And this will answer a question that Bob Scargo was going to ask me earlier or later about how'd you get into being Bob the Scar guy. So when I was in Florida as a kid, I played Little League Baseball. Now, when I say played, I do mean that in the most simplest terms because I was the guy that spent most time in the bench. I was the guy that when the ball was thrown at me, I would squat as low as I could because my mindset was I ain't going to hit the ball. But if I shrink my strike zone, that they couldn't throw the ball across the strike zone, and I get a chance to walk on base, right? And it's very funny to see a guy that was a little pudgy kid like me squat down and then try to get back up with my shiny baseball bat. My baseball bat stayed shiny all the time because it didn't get any use, especially in the beginning. But when they had to put me out in the field because we were playing city ball and every kid had to play an inning, that was the rule back then. And they put me out in way, way, way right field. They had a fourth outfielder just for that kid. I was just that kid. I would kick rocks, I would chase butterflies, I would draw things in the ground, and then everybody else would take their baseball hat and they would curl it to a cone because it's Florida. It's very, very bright and shiny in Florida. And so the sun would shine. And so you want to cover your eyes because you're cool because you had to see the ball. I didn't need to see the ball. I wasn't even looking for the ball. A couple times during the year, the ball would roll past me and hit the fence. And the only reason I knew the ball went past me and hit the fence is because I'd hear it hit the fence. And I go, oh, wait, I'm supposed to get that ball. And so what I would do is I couldn't throw for crap. I would actually run out there, grab the baseball, and I would try to throw it, and I'd throw it maybe 10 feet, and I'd go run, pick it up, and I'd throw it again 10 feet while the guy is running around the base. And so finally I would just pick up the ball and I would jog, it wasn't really a run, into and hand it to the shortstop or second base. Shortstop, I guess it is. And then they would throw it in and they would look at me like I'm an idiot because I was. But I could cheer real loud. My mom brought great snacks. But my mom, oh God, you gotta love your mom. Mom loved me. She had faith in me. She believed in me. She wanted her baby boy to be somebody. And she knew, but she wanted me to be cool. She knew I needed to be cool because I wasn't smart, but I had no friends. Anyway, she bought me those cool glasses that the baseball glasses that you would flip up so you could see the ball and then flip it back down and flip it up. See, I didn't need that, but it looked cool because every cool kid had one. So my mom, one day I came home and she bought me those. And I thought I was cooler than all get out, cooler than snot. Flip that thing up 3,000 times a day, I think. Flip, 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 put it on between classes and school. I was just so cool. We went out to the pitch and catch and played with the thing on, with it up and with it down, and practiced looking good for the pictures from my baseball card when I was Major League Baseball player. Dreams, dreams. But if you curled your hat like that, then it wouldn't fit. And I curled my hat because I want to be cool like everybody else. And so I told my coach I lost my hat and I needed another hat. And I bugged the coach to get another hat because I had a plan. And so he finally just to shut this irritating kid up, gave me another hat. And so I bent the hat like this at the exact fit of the glasses. So it went around the edges of the glasses. And I looked cool. I looked like a ball player until I actually had to play. But up until then, boy, I looked like somebody. So I had bent my hat that way as a kid. So come back to now, 2016, I guess, 2015, whatever it was, when the FDA was fighting cigars. I was a little bit in cigar smokers, got into a couple cigar groups, and they were doing Save the Leaf, which was a big protest. Ryan Gallimore and Danny Vasquez were leading it up to protest DC and FDA. It was a big thing, and they were needing volunteers to help. And so I sent them an email. I sent them a text or whatever, a message, whatever it is. I said, hey, I have no clout. I have no money. I have no contacts. I don't buy a lot of cigars, but I'm willing to be goofy and do short PSAs, right, to get the word out. And so I did short, stupid PSAs. I made a character. I called myself Average Bob, cigar smoker, right? And I would go to lounges and I would interview lounge people, and I use my humidor and a little desktop, and I'd have 20 cigars in there, and I said, "This is your humidor," and then I'd pull all the cigars out except two and three, and I said, "This is your humidor on FDA," and I would slam it and say, "Any questions?" Like the old PSA with the drugs and the eggs, right? Yeah, I'm that guy. So it kind of took off a little bit. And I bent my hat like that to have a hook. I needed a hook. I needed to be different because I wasn't good. I didn't have everything everybody else had. So I needed to have something. And so I came up with the hat. And so I just started wearing the hat. It was a Gurkha hat. That was the only cigar hat I had. Steve Cook, one of the best Gurkha representatives out there, salesman. And he gave me the hat, good friend of mine. And so and I smoked a lot of Gurkhas. Ancient Warrior was my jam. When I got a chance to smoke cigars, I was the guy who only had about 15 cigars in my humidor a year, usually because I got them on my birthday, I got them at Christmas, Father's Day. We had them in the mall. We had a place in the mall, and every once in a while, I go in there with a $20 bill, and that would have to get me through till the next holiday or whatever. And so I go buy an Ancient Warrior, which has the big Gurkha band on it, and then I'd buy three or four cheap cigars so that I had some cigars to smoke. Right, Ancient Warrior, I say it was an expensive cigar. It was like $8 back then, and so I buy three or four or five and little place in the mall, and I go home and I'd be happy. I'd smoke my cigars, right? And so years went by. Well, sorry, uh, we they ended up needing volunteers to go to Save the Leaf in DC, and I said I'll go. And the first lady went, my Gracie went. Chief was busy; he couldn't go. And this is back before we did any of this. Um, and Macy and Kate and the grandkids went, the little bitty kids, and we went to protest at the Capitol lawn. We did 2 nights of events at the convention hall outside, and then we were on Capitol lawn, the first people to legally smoke cigars and protest on the Capitol lawn. I lit up the first cigar during the day of that protest, which was really, really cool. I like knowing that I had that. But the night before, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting around with some master cigar makers, a lot of the titans in the industry were there, and they were handing out cigars. The last night they could hand out cigars, and a guy named Justin Hanson gave me an cigar, Alpha Cigar Company, infused by absinthe, and so he gave it to me. I'm sitting next to my new friend Al Peter, which I had just talked to online, but he was working. We were working, and a couple other people. And the first lady was there, and Justin gave me a cigar, and I cut it with a V cut from Calibri. It was Al's cutter. I love that cutter. I had to get me one as soon as I could. $40 for that dang thing. It was expensive back then. I had cheap event cutters, free cutters. I was that guy, and so I cut the cigar, and I took a cold draw. I took a draw off of it like you're supposed to before I lit it, and I said, "Oh, I taste pineapples." And we're around a table, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. The bottle's been passed, everybody's talking, and there's conversations going on. I said it quietly. I just said, "Oh, I taste pineapples." Like I was telling the first lady. And the owner of the company goes, "What did you say?" At that point, I was very concerned. I was very nervous because I think I had just screwed up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a goob. I smoked less than 200 cigars. I smoked cigars when I was in the Marine Corps, cheap, nasty AY Antonio Cleopatra Grenadiers, the most awful cigars. You could tie them in a knot, they were so rubbery. I only smoked it so that I could point and yell and cuss at people to exclamate my point and march with going long humps, long hikes with 200 pounds of gear, um, in formation and training. And I'd smoke those cigars so that I looked nasty, like Sergeant Rock from the old cartoons, old comic books. But anyway, I said, I taste pineapples. And he goes, what did you say? And I said, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what I'm talking about. And he goes, no, 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 no. You tell me what you said. I said, I taste pineapples. And he tapped his mom. Her name is Chi. And she is a sommelier. And he goes, Mom. And she goes, what? He goes, he tastes pineapples in the cold draw. And now everybody has stopped talking. And the spotlight effect is on me and I am freaking panicking. And she goes, you taste pineapples? I said, I am so sorry. I don't know what I taste. I don't know. I don't know. Bob, you look like you were tongue tied there a little bit. I'm sorry, BTCG, but it does make me nervous. I'm already nervous here, but that was a nervous moment. I was petrified. I thought they weren't going to let me do any more. I thought I was never going to get a cigar again. Honestly, honestly. And so she goes, "That's interesting." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, when you age the tobacco in the pilon process, it's the fermentation process where it takes the starches and turns them into sugars, and it sweetens the tobacco and it prepares it for being smokable. Um, in between, they take the tobacco and they make it into hands, which is about 5 or 6 leaves they tie together, and then they stack it in a bunch, a pilon, basically a big pile, where it's rows and rows and rows, inside and outside, upside and downside, be as long as a football field, could be as short as 10, 15 feet, at least 4 or 5 thousand pounds of tobacco. They put thermometers in there and they let it ferment and get hot, and the ammonia actually evaporates out, and the other bad things in the tobacco come out. And as that pile gets hot in the middle, they take everything off the top and they put it to the bottom, everything from the inside and put it to the outside, so that all of it is evenly fermented, kind of like a rotisserie chicken, right, where it's cooked all the way through, all the way around. Everything gets the same amount of temperature. Well, in doing that, between each one of those breakdowns of pilon, manufacturers will rehydrate the tobacco. They'll dip it in water. They'll dip it in whatever, and they have what they call it. It's called the punch. They dip it in a punch, and some manufacturers will use a citrus concoction that takes that acid in the citrus, the citric acid, and it just brings a little sweetness, more sweetness to it. It doesn't infuse it, but it just aids in the process of fermentation. It just adds a little bit to it. And they use pineapple juice. And they said, we have never ever had anybody said they taste pineapple juice. And I said, huh. Well, my friend Ala Peter, which I had never met before in the real world, he goes, Bob, I'm going to send you an Opus X Lost City. I want you to do a review on Facebook. And I said, oh, no, 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 no. That's a $20 cigar. I don't smoke a $20 cigar. That's a waste of a great cigar because I don't know what I'm doing. And so that whole weekend, between the first lady and between Al, they, proper word, encouraged me often that I should do it. And I finally succumbed to peer pressure and I said, fine. If you want to waste a good cigar, you send it to me. And for you, my friend, I will put a review on Facebook and we will be done. And I don't know if I had the name Bob the Cigar Guy when I first started or what, but he sent me 5 cigars. And one of them was the Opus X Lost City. Another one was the Flathead um, Ape Hanger, the motorcycle themed Flathead, which is what I did first because I didn't know what I was doing. I sat down on a little notepad and I wrote with Sharpie some notes. And I decided that I had to fix a battery on my old Ford truck anyway. I had to fix a battery on it. I had to clean the terminals. They were nasty. And I thought I would do maintenance on the truck. I was out in the front yard in my driveway, barefoot, um, doing that. And so, First Lady actually shot the video. You can actually hear in it. The video is still up. It is the Flathead series Ape Hanger. I think it's my first ever video. Awful. Don't watch it. I highly recommend not watching it. I actually lost my notes a couple times. Luckily, the truck started, but I did that video. I did one a week. He sent me 5. By the end of the first week, somebody else sent me 5 more cigars. All right. By the fifth week, somebody else sent me 10 more cigars. Now, this is on Facebook. And so I'm like, all right, I'll do I'll do these cigars until I run out of cigars, and then I'll be done. People are just generous. They're kind. Al's probably called his friends and said, "Hey, send this hillbilly some cigars." Right? Al's great. And so I did videos on my back porch, sitting in a chair up against my house. And one day, Chief comes out and he goes, "Hey, your videos really need some help. I'll edit them and put them on YouTube. Let's put them on YouTube." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't want to put my videos on YouTube." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Because I suck. Because nobody is going to watch me. And I know I suck, but there's still hope that I'm just being too tough on myself and I don't suck. But if we put it on YouTube and nobody subscribes and nobody watches it, that's evidence of how much suckage I have as Bob the Cigar Guy." He goes, "Let's try it." I said, "All right." He goes, "Just send me the videos, send me the clips." He had to show me how to do it on the phone. I'm analog in a digital world. I mean that. Ah, cigar went out again. This cigar is so good. Bob the Cigar Guy, I wish you talked more so I could smoke my cigar. Well, you know what, Bob? You don't leave any gaps in the conversation. You just the air is out of the room because you just keep on talking. And you know what? I'm interested. I don't know if the viewers are, but I'm interested in your origin story, as Marvel likes to say about their movies, so that they can add more movies that people will watch and spend money on. It's a money grab, but I'm not going to talk about that. But this is interesting. So please, as soon as you light your cigar, I'd appreciate it if you continue with your story. Well, all right, BTCG, I guess I will. So, Chief entered the fray, used iMovie, and he put it on iMovie, and we got a couple subscribers. Then we got a couple more subscribers. Then we got a couple more subscribers. And then people kept sending me cigars. It was at the point to where I had a year's worth of cigars. I would do one every Sunday. I had a year's worth of cigars in my queue waiting to do. And there were some bangers. There were some people that sent me cigars that you can't buy anymore. Cubans. Oh my gosh. Everybody sent me. I have smoked practically every Cuban ever done. Right. I'm not talking about the pre whatever, but the ones that you could get back then, all of them, BHK 56, the 52, the 50, whatever it is, all the Trinidads, all the Monte Cristos, all the Romeo Julietas, all of them. It was crazy. And I'm sitting there looking at the prices on these, going, "This is insane." And people started sending me stuff, and so I was doing reviews. And then the day the tide turned was when a real good friend sent me. He was a Cuban aficionado. Man knew his Cubans. He ran with a circle of guys that knew Cubans, flat out. And he sent me a Cohiba, honest to God Cohiba, and I did the review. And the biggest cigar reviewer in the world on YouTube, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to give him shine. He's not in YouTube anymore. I don't even think he does cigar reviews. But he was huge. He was mean. And he watched my video and he commented to his group that it's a shame when a country bumpkin, a hillbilly idiot, is smoking a fake Cuban and and he's acting like it's a real Cuban. What an idiot. What a hayseed. What a goober. I mean, he railed me. I'm working nights at Time of the Carmel. He just ran me up and down. And his people were militarized. I mean, anything he said is what they did. And they bashed me. They made comments and comments and they mocked me. They did all these other things and it was awful. Now, up to this point, I had maybe, I don't know, my videos, if I was lucky, had the Opus did well. The Opus did really well. But unless it was a real great superstar cigar, I got 20, 30 views, and maybe on a great day I had 100. Over a month I'd have 100, and I was proud of it. And I had probably less than 100, 200 subscribers at that time. I was nobody. Why pick on me? You got over 50,000 subscribers, and you picking on me, right? But anyway, what happened was all of his viewers watched my video multiple times. I was working night shift, and I happened to look at my analytics, and I just dropped that video like 3, 4 days before, and all of a sudden that video had 700 views. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my video has 700 views. And I'm telling the guys about it. And then he clicked up and said, no, you ain't got 700 views. I said, yeah, I just saw it. He says, no, no, no. I just looked at it. And this was a couple hours later. It was during lunch or whatever. I said, you got 900 views. I said, you did what? And I watched that thing just skyrocket. And I got subscribers. I got a lot of subscribers. And I'm like, wow. All right. Okay. So I commented. I went to his post and I commented, dude, the fact that somebody as big in the industry as you watched my video, I am humbled. I thank you for watching my video. Just killed it with kindness. Because what am I gonna do? I got I got a squirt gun, and he's got a battleship. I mean, I can't fight that fight. What? Psh, psh, just okay, man. I got views. That's all. I was excited. I got views. I went home. I told my wife. But the comments were rough. I read the comments. I used to screenshot the comments back then, but I don't do that anymore. But it did beat me up pretty good. But I went and contacted the guy who um who gave me the cigar, and I said, "Look, I mentioned your name in the video, and you might get some backlash from this guy. And it's doing really well. I've never had a video hit like this. To me, that was viral." And I said, "But I value you more than I value my hits and my views and my clicks and my this and my that, and I will pull it down." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, this guy did this." And he goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That ain't fake. I bought this from such and such and so and so. And I got box codes." He goes, "No." He goes, "I don't like the guy. I know he's a jerk. He's an idiot. And he said bad words. And he said, "You know what? Nah, leave it up. Don't worry about it." So he shared it. And then he contacted all his Cuban friends who don't like that guy anyway. And they said, "Hey, fellas, this guy is telling me that I have a fake Cuban." And so his guys are like, "Hey, I sold you that Cuban. I sold you that box. That box, and they just went on and on and on. And so they went to war. They got in the that guy's Facebook group and just came back. I mean, it was crazy. I was sitting back going, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" Here I am, the one that everybody's fighting about, and I'm sitting there going, y'all need to stop. Y'all are crazy." But my views went through the roof. I hit like 5 grand views. I'm like, are you kidding me? Crazy. But it took a toll on me. And it was early on, and I was struggling with it. And I'm sitting in the studio thinking about, you know what? I'm going to finish out these videos and I'm going to be done. Because at this point, manufacturers were starting to kind of, Drew Estate and some others were starting to reach out to me about sending me some cigars and stuff. And Calibria sent me a cutter, and I was thinking that maybe we could make a channel out of it. And Chief was excited, but I was like, you know what? This is messing with my mental health. I don't think I need to be doing this. And so, out of the blue, flat out of the blue, two of the guys that I was so enamored with, because they were so cool and down to earth. They were everything opposite of this other guy. They were so welcoming, so engaging, so inviting, so just cool. They were just fun. They were just guys being guys. And that was Brad Reith, rest his soul, and Tim Swanson, who now has the fame of Cigars Daily. He is by far and above everybody the biggest cigar reviewer in the world. He is, just because he's awesome. And this is one of those evidences. My phone rings. It's FaceTime from Tim Swanson. And I look at my phone and I'm like, what? No. And I look at it again. I said, no, this is a joke. And I click on it. And there's Tim Swanson back when he was with TNT. And he goes, hey, Bob. And the first thing I said was, you know my name. And he laughed. And then he's at his desk. And then you hear a desk chair slide across a hard concrete floor. And there's Brad Reese head going, hey, Bob. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Brad Reese and Tim Swanson. They know my name. And they call, how did you get my phone number? And he said, yeah, we got your phone number. He said, I just want to tell you something. We just want to tell you something. Don't stop. You have something different. And the cigar world needs that. Don't stop. Don't worry about your numbers. Don't worry about your analytics. Don't worry about your haters. Just keep on pushing. Put out content. Don't stop. Don't change. Just be you. And I'm going to tell you, that was a watershed moment. I had mad encouragement from my wife. She was so encouraging. And encouragement from Chief, my son Steven, and from friends at work, Louis Sosa and the rest of them. And people on Facebook. I wasn't sharing that I was upset. I put on a good face. I'm not going to let you know that I'm struggling. That's none of your that's you don't need to carry my burdens. My shoulders are big enough. I carry myself. If I don't carry if I don't carry my burdens, you won't let me carry your burdens, and I want to help you with your burdens. I want to help you have a good life. I do. That's my goal. I really, really do. And so, with that being said, I didn't tell anybody, but Tim knew. And over the years, Tim has said, "Call me anytime," and he has given me great advice. He's actually been on Chief Talk before. Um, he is a true friend. Him and Eric Gutmerson from Cigar Dojo has poured into me a lot. He was willing to give me lots of advice, and we only have 13 minutes, and I have tons of questions, so I can't get into my Eric Gutmerson story. If you like, all right, this is Bob Cigar Guy. If you like this kind of content, if you want to hear more about stuff like this, if you want interviews with Bob, you need to give me comments. You need to tell me, because I'm shooting in the dark here. I'm trying to find stuff. So if these numbers don't go up, I'm gonna be like, after a couple times of doing it, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I gotta change again. This doesn't fit. I'm fishing and I'm not catching. So let's change bait. Let's pull up anchor. Let's go find another fishing hole, because there ain't no fish here. So, and it's all on me. It's not on you at all. But if you do like this content, please share it. Please like it. Please comment. Comment you like it. If you don't like it, please, for God's sakes, quit watching. Number one. Number two, if you're still here, tell me what you'd rather see. I really would. I really would appreciate it. So, so we keep going. And so we've been doing this for now almost 10 years as Bob the Cigar Guy. So that's the extra long story of why I bend my hat that way. You know, I'm not created for short content, that is for sure, because I just can't shut my darn trap. So, Bob the Cigar Guy, back to you. All right. So, where do you live? I already answered that. Dummy. Travelers Rest, South Carolina. How many cigars do you smoke a week? Good question. We do a lot of content here on the channel. We do Chief Talks on Thursdays, every Thursday at 8:15 South Carolina time. And during that, I will come out here and hang out with Chief before the show. We'll talk about business. We'll talk about show. We'll talk about flow. And I will smoke a cigar, if not two. And then I will smoke probably two cigars during the show. So there's four there. Then I will do Drew Estates video every week, Drewsday, where we focus on something from Drew Estate or Hawaii to Nicaragua. So that's a cigar. And then we do Steve Saka on Sunday, which is kind of a hodgepodge of stories and life application. And I think we are shifting that into different types of gear and some sillier stuff. I just dropped when is it? Yeah, I just dropped a video last Sunday on the best cutter for the shop. I think it's a solid video. It's funny. And then what else do we have? We have this podcast, which is on Fridays. So that right there is 4 times I'll smoke a cigar, at least one, if not two. And then when I edit, I will smoke a cigar pretty much per show editing. Editing takes me a long time because I'm not chief, I'm very slow. And so I will smoke just for work, just for content. I will smoke 8 to 10 cigars a week. And then I have monthly sponsors. We have, who do we have? We have Aganorsa. We have JC Newman. We have, I don't want to miss out on any of my sponsors, Natura. Um, and then manufacture semi cigars, and I review those cigars. Then we also have Second Saturdays with the First Lady Live, which is a giveaway. I'm not on the video; it's First Lady's video, but I do the editing and the well, the I do the behind the scenes. All right, and I do color commentary. I talk into the microphone every once in a while, and then she does a huge giveaway, and so we do that once a month. So on any given week, I will smoke no less than 15 cigars, and then we go to events. I'll go to a lounge. I'll meet up at a lounge. Chief just started working at a lounge in Greer, and so I will go up there once or twice a month. Have a bunch of guys, girls show up. We'll hang out. We'll just crash the place with 10, 15 strong and show chief support and hang out with everybody. And so in doing that, that night I'll smoke 4 or 5 cigars. Um, I smoke fast. So I'll smoke 4 or 5 cigars. And then we have things like barn smoker, which a barn smoker weekend, I will exceed 45 to 50 cigars on a barn smoker 3, 4 day trip. Then we have um, PCA. PCA is a whole different world. PCA Chief does all the coverage, and those videos we do 30 to 40 interviews um, during that 3 days, and then I have a podcast at night, and then I'm smoking cigars in between, and every second I can, I will smoke in excess of 100 cigars, possibly 120 to 140 cigars in that 4 or 5 day period. Then when I come home, all the videos that he's done while he's putting out videos every day, great videos, I will be shooting reviews of the cigars that he's posting. And then as soon as he is done posting, I will upload all those videos. And so I will smoke in excess of 1,000, 2,000 cigars a year. A lot of cigars. I have a wall behind me, 3 humidors, um, all winding doors. Uh, got them off a marketplace. If you bought these as purpose built humidors, cigar humidors at this size, and you bought them at retail, you're spending 15 to 20,000 dollars. I will tell you right now that I spent less than $300 on all 3 of them from marketplace. I disconnected the climate control because climate control will suck the humidity out. This is a climate environment. We keep it at 70 degrees in here, so I don't need climate control. If it's 70 degrees in here, it's 70 degrees in there. And then I buy 6 bricks of Bovita, the 60 gram, the 68s, 68 humidity, and I put them in there. I will put 10 in each one of those. Each brick for $50 has 10. And so I will put 10 in each one of those at different positions. And then when those dry up, I will take those 10 out. I will recharge them and put the other brick in there. And then when those dry out, the other ones are recharged. I will do that over and over and over again. So I will have $300 in humidity, um, in perpetuity. It'll last forever unless I screw it up. Distilled water. You must use distilled water. Um, and then $300 in humidors. So it looks like we are balling for all get out. We're not. We are very budget friendly. Started off with a Tupperwares, moved up to Pelican cases from Harbor Freight. Then we went from there to I bought a humidor from a wooden humidor from a vape shop, which has been in a lot of our videos in the past. And then I ended up selling that humidor and started getting these. And I just slowly waited till the sales go on. Marketplace is your friend. I wouldn't recommend having this many cigars, this big of a wall of cigars, because this is a huge investment if I paid for them. Do I pay for them? Good question. Yes and no. I pay for them in time. Shooting this video takes an hour. Editing this video takes 3 to 4. So that's 5 hours, 4 hours of time in the whole process. That's editing and posting in the process. And so my time is what costs. I spend a lot of time out here, and manufacturers have sent us lots of cigars for giveaways and lots of cigars to review. A lot of manufacturers are not our sponsors, but they will still send us their new products to do reviews, and I would do a review. If a manufacturer sends me a box of cigars, and I'm spilling the tea. If a manufacturer sends us a box of cigars, I do a review of one cigar. So I have the rest of the box. And we do giveaways. Like I said, the first lady has giveaways every second Saturday, and all you have to do is be present and comment to win. You don't have to do anything but that. You have to be there at the end of the show, and if your name is called out of the hat, then you say I'm here, and then I mail it to you. If you're in the continental U.S., it's free. If you're out of the continental U.S., you got to pay the additional shipping, and you have to be over 21 years of age. Those are our only stipulations. And the first lady does a great show. It's a fantastic show. So, um, being that we've been doing this for 10 years, being that we've been involved with so many amazing manufacturers, being that we go to PCA for the past 3 years, plan to go again this year, manufacturers have started to get some traction and say, hey, we want to send you some stuff to review. And so this is how we fill up. And then we turn around and do giveaway. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, which we are over 9,000 and change, we are climbing towards 10,000. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, we will have another mega raffle slash giveaway where every ticket is a winner. I don't believe in you not winning. So if you purchase a ticket, you will win, and you will win something that is amazing. Starts off with 5 cigars and it goes up from there. Everybody will get more than what their their raffle ticket. We don't do it to raise money. We do it to pay for shipping, because last time we did almost 260, 250 giveaways. If you did buy a ticket, you can still watch, and while you're live, you get a chance to win. You can win some amazing stuff, some humidors, some this, some that, some the other. So tell your friends so you can win something. Tell your friends, hey, y'all need to subscribe so we can hit that 10K, because it is going to be ridiculous. We always do bigger and better. And we've been storing up swag and stuff. I mean, look at that. That's nothing. But those are all discontinued soccer mugs. We've got lots of stuff from lots of great manufacturers. But Bob Scarga, I'm going to give it back to you, because we've been running our mouth on half the questions for an hour almost. We have a minute and a half. So I'll give it back to you, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Wait, I'll give it back to you, Bob Scarga. Thanks, Bob. Great having you on. You're a hoot and a half. Anyway, if you like the content, leave me a comment. I have a lot more to go. I didn't even get through half my notes, half my questions to ask Bob. So if you like that, please comment and share. Please comment and share. Those who are faithful and have stayed through all the videos, I greatly thank you. I appreciate you. It's not like we're trying to take over the world. It's that we want to make sure that if a sponsor has trust in us, we want to make sure that we put out a product that gets that exposure. Business is business, right? But you're home, I hope. I hope your weekend is going to be great and fantastic. I hope you have great time recharging your batteries, spending time with the ones you love. And I will say this is the only thing that I really said that's the same from our usual, but I mean it. Life begins on the other side of that door. Get out that door, get in that house with people who love you and people you love. Start living because that's what it's about, right? Enjoy, take your moments. You deserve them. Life is better because you're here. Stay here as long as you can because we need you. I need you. You're going through a hard time, you need somebody to talk to, get help. Talk to somebody. Ain't got nobody to talk to? Talk to me. Talk to Chief. We'll listen. We don't have any answers, but we have ears. We have a heart. Our heart's open to you. I love you. I'll see you later. Next week. Later, Tater.